All right, Ford Transit 12 passenger XLT van. Let's take a look inside. I'm going to show you the cargo room, passenger seating, foot room, that type of thing. And at the end I'll give you my overall opinion of renting this van. We rented it for a road trip, and if you're thinking about that, stay tuned, check out this vid. Maybe it helps. Hopefully it does. If you're thinking about buying one of these things, maybe it helps too. And if you're buying it from the dealership, I know you can get different configurations than what I have here. When you're renting it, it's kind of, you get what they have available, and that's what happened here.
All right, view from the driver's seat. Steering wheel is telescopic, so we'll move in and out, which is really nice. You can get it adjusted however you want. You have cruise control, your basic controls for, you can sync your phone up to it. It does have the sync system for phone. And 18.4 miles per gallon average, and that's pretty accurate. When I was checking it, it was around 18 throughout the trip, and this was going through hills and stuff like that. Visibility, pretty good. I guess I should mention the engine in this is a 3.7 liter V6, not an EcoBoost or anything like that. So power, it had power to accelerate. It didn't have, to get up to speed. It didn't really have that passing power though. It was difficult to pass at highway speeds, so you had to plan that out pretty carefully. I mostly just hung with traffic, and if they were going the flow, then that's what it did. But real smooth ride for a large van like this. Now, you're talking about visibility still. Your rear view mirror, you can't see out that back window. Big old pillars in there. You can't see a car back there anyway. They would hide back there. You can see your passengers, which is fun. But you do have really nice side view mirrors with the blind spot mirror at the bottom. Those are great for the way they are. Those are great for making the turns, making sure you're not running over stuff, and also making sure there's not a car in your blind spot right next to you. Now, this does have a backup camera. You're just going to see my garage in it, but I don't know if it's showing up there on this camera, but it does have the lines, and when you turn the wheel, it does have the white lines that follow, so you know where you're tracking at. The only thing is, it's way up there in this dash, and you have to lean forward to really see what's going on. But at least it has a backup camera, and that was a lifesaver. I had to back up in several places. That made it fairly easy. That and these giant side mirrors, no problem. It does have the proximity alert beepers, so you're not gonna. It also, in the bumper, so you got too close something, they would beep and let you know, hey, too close. Let's take a look at the rest of the amenities, I guess you would say. Your basic radio setup and everything like that. You do have your AC controls and heat controls for up here in the passenger and driver side, and then in the back passenger section, you actually control them up here, which was pretty easy. They just had to call out what they needed, and there's vents that run all for every row of this van, so that was pretty nice. Let's take a look at these passenger seats. And one thing on the driver's side is where the fuel door is. You actually have to open your driver's side door, which will be open when you get out to fill up, and you flip it open like that. Makes it easy to pull up to the pump. You know where it's at. Alright, this door is pretty hefty. Wish I had a power door on it. Get it all the way open to lock it. So watch your little kids if you're on an incline with that and they're trying to get out on their own. Alright, overall the seats are fairly comfortable. They do not recline. Legroom is an issue if you're a large adult. You'd want to be in this first row here, or find one of the two seats that has the ability to stretch your legs out. However, if you don't need, this is a 12 passenger, say you only need 10, you can actually take this little two-seater out. Imagine that, and then you could stretch out pretty nice. And taking these seats out is pretty easy. There's a lever here and there. You got to pull all, this one's a 3-row, but you pull them all up and it tilts them out. I'm 6'2", so legroom's always an issue for me. If I was an adult having to ride in the back, I would want to pick this first row probably. And actually the middle seat here, you could stretch your legs out right there in between the driver and passenger seat. Here's the second row for the passengers, and again, I'm 6'2", pretty hefty dude, and yeah, my knees are going to be up into this, so it's not going to be that comfortable, you know, if I'm doing a really long trip. Here's the leg room in the little jumper seat. This seat is pretty narrow, but it does give you the ability to stretch your legs out if you're an adult. Back row, very back row. You have cup holders along each row. If I was an adult back here, I'd be picking this little seat right here. You can see this is the prime seat row if you're a large adult, because it is just like, even though there's 4 seats, it is just like the second row back. If you're a large adult, you're going to be, knees are going to be touching. So, got a little thing here to hang something. I don't know what that's all about. There is one power port in the 4th row, right there, next to the cup holder. All right, let's take a look at the back of the van. It has some nice features. One, the door is going to lock right there in place, so it's not going to swing closed on you. Then you can hit this and unlock it further, swing it around. There's a magnet on the other side that holds it in place. That's really nice for loading, walking around, loading cargo. This one does the same thing. Try to keep the camera as steady as possible. But with the 12 passenger, you actually, it's the same length as the 15 passenger, except there's no row of back seats. On the 15 passenger, you can remove 2 of those seats, which was my plan. This worked out just great, getting for the same price, but plenty of cargo room here for all your luggages and stacking them up. Also, underneath every seat, it's actually designed to fit a carry-on size piece of luggage, which we did utilize in several under-seat locations. You can pull these seats out. There's that lever you pull up. If it doesn't have a lever, it just means it's been removed, but the mechanism is still down in there. You just got to get a little hook of some type and hook it and pull it up.
All right, let me quickly try to sum up my thoughts on this van. And would I rent it again for a road trip? Yes, as long as it didn't exceed like that 6 to 7 hour mark. That was about the longest we were in the van, and the adults in the back were getting pretty restless because there's not a lot of foot room, leg room for them back there, especially if you have some larger adults. Driver's seat was great. I liked driving the van. It was very nice, easy to drive. You know, I actually kind of miss driving it, honestly. So these would be really cool, customized with a little bit better seating, a little bit more leg room. You might have to get rid of a row or infringe on the cargo space in the back, so to speak, or remove that middle row out of passenger, that middle passenger row out. That would work pretty well depending on your situation. So there it is, the pros and cons of it. Long trip, think twice. Medium to short trip, road trip with a lot of adults, yeah, it works. It can work for you. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Boom.